Hey, okay, welcome to the stream tonight. It's gonna be a quick one. Uh, actually, probably a few minutes because I just feel like it. Yeah. So maybe I. Yeah. So we're looking in at the Rustlings previously, and I think we left off around generics. I believe. You can tell me if the music is too loud. I don't know, but I'm trying to pick up where we left off. But again, we're using the Rust book and Rustlings program, yeah. And yep, I think we were supposed to look at traits last. Yep, I think we were on the chapter around generics. Is it? Yep, generics. And we looked at generic data type. Now, if you're looking at shared behavior, let's quickly look at traits. Yep. So, how does it work? So we have so a trait being a functionality that has a type that can be shared with other types. So basically, a trait implements shared behavior. Yeah, exactly, to define shared behavior in an abstract way. And then we have this thing they call trait bounds, which means that you can constrain the behavior and say this is just going to be for specific types. So in Rust they're called traits, but in other languages they're called interfaces. Yeah. So for example, like JVM languages. So how do we define a trait? So this is how to define a trait, right? We say trait. This is the access modifier, like pub here, the access modifier. I mean, it's called access modifier in the JVM language. What's it called here actually? It's probably also an access modifier. Yeah, and then we define the trait and implement the yeah that expresses behavior. So we implement the behaviors, like summarize in this case. So implementing the trait on a type. So we have a struct news article, and we implementing the summary trait on this news article. So basically specifying behavior, the behavior of summarize or the summary behavior on this. Right. We also have another struct social post, and we implement summary for it. You can see that the summary is like it's different, right? And then now we can yeah, in this case they are both summary, and then we can use trait bounds to display a summary for either news article or social post. So look, we bring so if we had a library, for the library, we can have summary in the library, and then clients of the library can implement summarize for their types, right? So look, it's talking about that's what it's talking about here. It says So the library has implemented the summary trait on news article and social post. Users can call the trait method on instances of news article and social post, the same way they do regular method. So this is how a binary crate can use our aggregator library. So imagine that we had a library called aggregator, and we have summary and even social posts there. Yeah. And now we create a social post, and we can call summarize on it. That's it. Okay, so other crates that depend on aggregator crate can also bring in summary trait into scope to implement summary on their own types. One restriction to note is that we can implement a trait on a type only if either the trait or the type or both are local to our crate. We can implement a trait on a type only if either the trait or the type or both are local to our crate. Okay. So basically, if the struct is local to our crate, or the type itself, or or the trait. So if the struct or the trait, if either of them or both are local to our crate, then we can implement the trait on that type. So for example, we can implement the standard library traits like display on a custom type like social post, because social post is part of our crate. Yeah, because social post is local. We can also implement summary on vector. Yeah, because the trait is local to our crate. Okay. But we can't implement external traits on external types. Yeah, that makes sense. We don't have the types, yeah. We can implement display on vecti within our aggregator crate, because display and vec are both defined in the standard library and they're not local to us. The restriction is part of a property called coherence, more specifically the often rule, because the parent is not present. Yeah, so the rule is just, it ensures that that other people's code can break your code and vice versa. Yeah. If you don't have this rule, then two crates would implement the same trait for the same type. Also know which implementation to use. So this is how to do a default trait implementation. We just implement it, that's all. Whereas if you wanted to just define it, you say it like so. It's just like interfaces in JVM language, for example. Okay. This is exactly how to use the default one as well. Yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty much it for traits. And then it's talking here about traits as parameters. Yeah. Okay. So this here is interesting. You take a reference to the implementation. This is how you write it. I mean, okay. So instead of a concrete type for the item parameter, we specify the implementation keyword and the trait name. So the parameter accepts any type that implements the specified trait in the body of notify. But yeah, this is trait bound. Wait, the implementation trait syntax works for straightforward cases, but it's syntactic sugar for a longer form not straight bound. Yeah, I think this is the one that I found more straightforward, to be honest. So you basically have notify and you specify a trait bound. This means that notify is a function over a generic type that is or implements the summary trait here. You take the parameter and then you say it's a reference of that type that you define here. Okay. I mean, is there another way to specify the trait bound? What if you had multiple yeah, you probably can use the where clause, right? Let's try to do something with that. Let's try to write something on that, yeah. Wait. My keyboard needs to wake up. Come on. Wait a second. Okay. Wait. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of this. Okay. Right. So let's have a module. Let's say I have a module named okay, I think they call it aggregator. Yeah. And inside the aggregator module, we define some structs. Sorry, I needed to put my wrist rest more comfortable. Yeah, so we needed to define a struct. It was called news article. Yeah, and news article has like a title. Yeah, and detail. That's it. And then we define also a social media post or social post. Yeah. And the post also has a title. Yeah. Hmm. Has a username and maybe has a destination. Yeah. And we would define a, so in this case, struct and wait. Let's define a trait called the summary, yeah? Summary trait. And then it was a summarize. Oh no. This is not how. How does this one work? Okay, like that. So we can we have these, and we can implement oh, this got split here. Okay, anyway, we can implement the yeah, we can have a function that displays summary. Yeah, let's say we created let social post we don't have it in scope, so we have to bring it to scope. But we don't have anything. Why don't we have anything? Because nothing is exposed, right? There's no access modifier. We can't get to them. What if we did this? Can we now go here? And what do we get? Yeah, now news article is there. So news article, and I also want to get the yeah, same thing with the trait. If the trait is not exposed, we don't get access to it. So now I can bring this into scope. Yeah, news article and social posts, and also the summary trait. Yeah, and I can create my social post. Yep. Actually, we should try to use what we have learned, right? By it's a module. We can implement news article. Yeah. And um we can create an associated method, as it's called, and say it's function, it's new. It should take, to create a news article, we need a title. So we should take a title that is a string. Yep, it should be an own string, yep. And then we should take a detail. That's also a string. Yeah. And this is how we would create the news article. And then it should return. Oh wait, no. We need to say it gives us it should give us self. Yeah, or we can say news article is fine, but this should be self, and we can say title news art detail. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's gonna map to that. I wanna try something about the docs and see if how do you do docs it. Wait, hold on. Let's see. So you can. Oh, it supports Markdown. Nice. So we can do it like this actually. Nice. So here I can say create new news article. Just that I want to see how it looks. Yeah, so we have an associated function here. And interesting. Yeah, okay. And then we can also create we can also have an implementation for social post. And we can again have an associated function here and say it's a public function new. Now we should take title. Should take a detail. Should take a username. Should take a destination. And it should give us self. And this should And then we would then create, we do self, and I mean, we simply just say title, detail, username, destination. It's going to return that. That's it. And we can, I mean, yep. So we have the summary. So we can use this anyway here. So now if I want to create a social post, I can actually do social post new. Yeah. And I provide the title. Description. Okay. Yeah. So that's social media post. We have it. Oh, it said 4 arguments. So we're trying to create a social post, right? I need a username and a destination. Yep. Okay. Also a string here. Yep. And the last is destination. Okay, look at the comment that we had. It's there. That's cool. And we can have a destination. We can say TikTok, for example. And then we have our social post. Yeah. Let's also create a news article. New news article. It's an article about UI model, whatever. So startup launches a new model. So we have now, yeah, 2. And by the way, we need a we wanted to display summary for these social media posts that we have. Assuming we got them from database, for example. So we need to, or from an external source, whatever. We need to display summary for them. How do we display summary? We can implement, we can we have the trait, yeah, some summary trait for the struct. For news article, for example, we can yeah, we can implement summary for news article. Yep. And then that would be, yeah, look, it's there. Wait. Summarize. I need to find, yeah, summarize. Yeah, it doesn't need anything. You just okay, so can do this, right? Let's go to return a string. Wait. Yep. By the way, the summarize needs to we need to restrict summarize, yeah? Summarize has to take, like, the summarize for the trait. It has to, it can't just take anything, right? Because this right now we take anything. Now we have to use trait bounds. I know we can do, yeah. No, wait. Well, maybe if we're gonna have a default implementation for it. Let's first have a default implementation for this, and then we use the, or let's have two. Let's have summarize, and let's yeah, let's have a summarize, and let's have is it called heading, or it's called highlight, or it's called caption? Yeah. Let's have a default implementation. Format macro, it should give yeah, I think this is the part where I need to see how we were doing this here. So if we had it, yeah. But this is not using traits as parameters. Yeah, this is not in the trait implementation. This is using the trait. Yeah, because now, yeah, this is then going to call the trait function itself, or the trait yeah. Yep. Okay, I think this is where it makes sense here. Okay, so what we need to do is yeah, this is actually yeah, it's a method. Yeah, it's a method. So here we can say for the news article, summarize would be title maybe. Yeah. Well, self of course. Mm, why is that? Invalid format field access isn't supported. How do you use this with formats? Wait. Method summarize has a self-declaration implementation, but not in the trait. Okay, I think that's part of the issue as well. I think to do that we do something like GD. Is it? No. Okay, no. I want to go there. Yep, here. Okay, so we need to say trait method declared without self. Is it missing type? What does it need to does it need a summary? No, that's not where this is needed. If we define, this is for the implementation, it's a reference, yeah, and then oh, you still just need a reference to self, that's it. But that's also saying wait, oh come on, what's wrong? Okay, what is with this thing? Okay, so that is, oh, what's wrong with this? Okay, yeah, so that's going to be reference to, what if I say some self, can I? No, so I just can say reference to self, yeah. Okay, so that's how you do this for traits. And here also I say reference to self, type in trait, yeah. And for the default one, parenthesize trait may only be used within the trait function. So here, but now for caption, yeah. So in this case, what do you know that this doesn't have any trait, doesn't have any attributes. It only has behavior. Exactly. So it's meant to specify behavior. So how would you generate a caption from a summary? Or like from okay, well, it doesn't make sense. I think this doesn't make sense. So this one, here doesn't make sense. Yep. What makes sense is actually the summarize. And for summarize, you just need to, now you need to implement it, because the summary would happen in it's the actual concrete implementations that know the attributes there. Yeah. So like for news article now, we can implement summarize. And useless user format. this compiler is rude. It's rude. Okay. Interesting thing is that this, when you have a regular method, you specify it with, like, you just need to say the type there, that's all. Okay. Well, so summarize, then you can say, yeah. I can say, or maybe, okay. So it'd be title from that username. Yeah. Now we have a social post. We implemented summarize for it. We have a news article. We implemented summarize for it. Summarize is a trait behavior here. And we can use it actually. So I think inside of our, so take this as our module or our library. And I think here we can have a function, or wait, no, think our library can expose a public function. Remember that the summarize, it's not exactly public for these. It's internal to these types. Yeah. So we can expose from our library. We can expose a public method, and maybe to notify, for example, and this would give us a string, and the public method should use generics to define a type, and then where it should take a reference to that type, where that type is a summary or implement summary trait. I think I didn't get this one right. Like it doesn't need these. Okay. And this should so how is this going to, what is it? Expected a type, found a trait. Okay, wait, hold on. I guess what we need here is probably not here actually. Let's say it's notify. It's going to take a post, which can be a news article or social media post. Yeah, a post that is as a reference to this. Yeah, as a type. Exactly. This needs to take this. Yeah. Or is it not? Oh no, I think it's. Wait, and here we can restrict it by using trait bounds. Right? Okay, this is returning unit type. I think this is the issue now here. So here we can say see, summarize is there. We can then call summarize on this. Oh, it's summarize double M. Okay, now we're exposing notify. Okay, this is exposed from our module, by the way. Now we can use it here. Remember, we created a social post, news article. I mean, I don't want to say post. Whatever it is, so I should call it item. Okay. Now we have a social post and a news article. We can then say we can then use that, right? So we can say we can call social post summarize, or we can also call news article summarize because it's on it. Yeah, look. Yeah, we can call summarize on them. The other thing we can do is to use the notify public function from the crate. Yeah. Actually, we can say print line. And then we can say so we need to bring it into scope, and here we can we can say social post mismatch types well, what's the problem? A reference. Okay, that's fine. Yep. Come on. Right. So can we print this? Can we run this program and see what we get now? Oh, sorry. Yep. So look at it. We have social post summary, and it's going to print from the it's going to print from the notify public method, or the public function that we exposed here in our module, and it's calling the trait method on the summary concrete type that we have there. So notifying about this title from the author, news article summary, notifying about article summary from. Okay, and remember we wrote this above. Look, we have where is it? Yeah, in our module, we where is it? Yeah, we implemented summary for social post. This is where we implemented summarize for it. Same thing we did for news article. Yeah, sorry for news article. So I think we're done for today. So yeah, we mostly did what we have here. I mean, our own way, of course. We also looked at trait parameters. We didn't exactly use the reference implementation keyword, which we can do. Actually, it's the same thing. What we did instead is to use trait bounds here, like this. I mean, this is the regular form. The other one we had there is the short form. We can take this out and instead do I think it was like this, right? And this would be summary. Yep. Yeah, that would be it. But I actually prefer the other one. I prefer this. It's much more explanatory to me. Okay, and well, notice also that we have everything inside of one file. You know, like the module is here, everything. I didn't split it, but generally we can do that. I think the way to do that would be to add a module here. So we have the main. This is actually not a binary crate. It's a library. It's a yeah. I think we can do that. We can split it. When it comes to libraries, I think we can use the library name, right? That's how it works. Our module is called aggregator, so I guess we can do a aggregator folder here, and then we can have a, I think it will be called aggregator.rs, right? If I'm not wrong. It should be right. And yeah, we have to include that in the module. But yeah, so I think we would have to, how do you bring that into scope? Yeah, by saying mode aggregator, right? I think that's how it works. Okay. Unresolved module file, can't find module. Yeah, that's fine because we haven't moved it there yet. So let's move. Is it already moved? No, wait. I mean, I think I split this. That's why it's looking like that. Okay. Yeah, so it says this is already defined. Yeah. Let's take this, cut this out, and take it to that file. Yep. Okay. And we should also save this one. Aggregator is here now. This file is not included in any crate, so Rust Analyzer. What do you mean it's not included in any crate? Like I have the aggregator defined, I have what am I missing? Oh wait, do I need the mode here? I don't think this is needed actually. So okay, wait, let's see. Let's just check the section on modules and crates and the rest, and we? Oh wait, I think it's meant to be called a librs. Is that it? Wait, hold on. I think it's gonna be called a librs. Yep. So I think that's it. So, yep. Oh wait, it's going to be a librs. Is it like so even? Aggregator. File not found. Wait. So you have src front of house, and it's gonna have, it will declare inside front of house. You have a module. Okay. And then this is how you use it. So this is what the structure will look like. Oh wait, yeah, this is not what we need. Yeah, this is so. Yeah, it should be called the full name. It should not be called librs. Yeah. Then what's the thing there? Hold on. This should really actually be. Oh wait. Probably. Hmm. What happens if I create a library crate? Um. Could it be because this is not a? No, I wouldn't imagine that. This file is not included in any crates. It's, what's the issue? File not found. Okay, wait. I need to check this in another. I mean, something else that we had before, from before, maybe. Okay. So there's nothing in here different. I just have an src source. I have my modules. So in this case, I have All right. So you have like a librs. No, wait. Um. So let's take an audio, the audio module, or even maybe this is not necessary. Yeah, we need to have a file and the folder. So in this case, as I have audio here, I also need to have an audio rs file. Yeah, that's how it has to happen. Yep. So as I have in this case gRPC, I have a gRPC1. Okay. Yep, there we define it. So we need to have, we have an aggregator. Yeah, I was right about this one, but you can have your direct files here actually. What is this? You have to have a librs for listing your modules in this case, right? Yeah, it's just so we have an aggregator. It's not including any crates. Yeah, you so yeah, for a library crate, I think we don't have a we didn't have a library crate, we only had a binary crate. The starting one here will be there'll be a librs. We need to have a librs in our case. So the start of the root crate for us is the librs for a library. And in the root file, we can declare new modules. That's where the compiler will look at them from. And it will look in this case, garden rs. So we need to have a lib rs here. Yep. In this file, we need to declare a module called aggregator. Yep. And this aggregator will be found in, wait, hold on. Actually, I think we need to, this is where it should be. It's inside src. Is that where it should be? Yeah, src lib rs. Yes, that's where it should be. Mm-hmm. So this would be the garden module. Actually, what we need to do, we don't need this aggregator rs. We need a we don't need the folder here actually. Well, so we have aggregator rs here. What do you mean you cannot find this? src. It will find the compiler will look in on aggregator, and you also and you have oh wait, yeah, and then how that should be. So this is how it. I think we just follow this one. So the structure should be we have a garden folder with a file inside, and here with a submodule as well, and here we have the garden rs that declares the submodule too. But in this case, we don't need to have that folder. We can just write it like that. We're not trying to group. It's just one. Like, look, we have. Okay, so because we have a lib rs, we can do this. You know what? I think I'm going to. What do we call that thing again? Aggregator, yeah. Let's call it aggregator. create a library. Let's open aggregator. No, that's not what I want to open actually. Wait. I think it was called aggregator. Yep. Okay, so this is the start of a project that has a module definition. Well, that's a library actually, yeah. This is how it looks, right? So you have a library, like so. I mean, we can add a main method, main to it. Yeah, and I can take what I have here, really. Well, let's is that where result is from? No. Okay. Then I have this library here. What is that I can do? Okay, so this is just the module. I mean, it's just a test module that is here. It's only having a function here, yeah. But let's say I wanted to add, wait. What I want to do is to create a new module, and based on how, yeah, based on this definition here, the start of things when compiling from the crate root is src lib for a library crate, while for a binary crate, it starts from src main to compile. If you look in the, so say we declare a garden module with mode garden, compiler will look in these places. So check src garden and then look for a mode rs or garden.rs. So knowing that, if I have a if I have an aggregator at rs, yeah, and well, the first thing to do would be to see, this is the start of the root crate for a library crate. I can declare this mode aggregator. Does it see it? What do you mean this file is not included anywhere in the module tree? I just added it. Wait. So when we declared this in the root crate, it would be able to find it in the file. And then what should we have in that file? I don't want to declare a submodule. Let's just go straight. So that would be guarding RS in this case. So imagine this is what we have in main in the actually we can do it in main RS if that was what we wanted to do. Okay. You declare the module, and then what is in garden RS? Yep, in garden RS you have a declaration of a submodule here, and then inside that submodule you then have your struct. So this means that, well, let's start with that. This means we can also have our structs here, right? So let's say so do I still have that? No, so that's fine, right? If I say yep, now it sees it. Okay, now it does see it. Yeah, I think it just wasn't seen. But okay, so we have, so we can have it like so. What if I did this in, what if I have a main RS here? And I also say that's fine. Is it? Vivax Dev. Hey, hey. How's it going? Okay. Now, I don't want this. Well, I'm just gonna leave it for now. So, Now that we have this, I can get the code we had from before. Actually, it means this would work actually for us. So I'm gonna get rid of this. So what I'm trying to do is, I mean, I was trying to move things um, around to a module after writing it in just the main RS, and I was having some difficulty with it. So I had to like create a separate thing and just see what was going on, you know. But now I see that we're able to, yeah, declare our module, knowing that in the crate, in the binary crate, it starts from here. It starts from this main RS if it's a binary crate. And then when we have a declaration like this, it tries to find this, one of the paths it tries to find is in SRC aggregator RS, right? So that's what we're doing here. So having seen that that works, I want to do come here and see about that. We have a main RS, this is our main. We declare module aggregator, so it's supposed to find things here. This is not necessary. Yep, and oh, no, it's fine. I'm not sure what was wrong before because we did exactly this before, you know. Anyway, you say this, yeah, we don't need any of these ones. It's okay. Yep. So I think this should be fine. Field in destruct, yeah. I think it's okay. So basically what I did was everything was in this file, all in one file. I just had to move it to a module. Aggregator module. And in our module we have everything there. We can further make this thing much more modular if we wanted, but this is okay. Just wanted to you know, make things a bit cleaner while we, I mean, learning, applying some of our learnings, you know. So yeah, it was also good to see that we stuck and we try to unblock ourselves. Yep. So our program is still running fine, so we're good. Okay, so I think that's where we end it today. Actually, it's a new day here. All right, then I wish you a good rest of the day, morning. Yep, and then we see maybe tomorrow, I think. Yeah. Bye.